So if you think of it, I guess the best example, or the easiest, and the lowest lying fruit for people, is just having a look at the celebrities, so celebrity blogs. So if I'm famous and I want to stay connected with my fan base, then going out and essentially doing a broadcast to them, but then allowing them to respond to me and let me know if they like what I'm saying, or even respond to what I'm saying. If we then, and that would really be the first movers. What we're seeing in places like, let's say, Indonesia and the Philippines, is it's a lot more social early on, where we're starting to see celebrities developing themselves. So I may have 5 or 6 friends who are following me. In the Philippines, we have what people would typically call alpha bloggers, so people who already have maybe 1 million, 2 million people following them on Twitter, Facebook, who are then starting audio blogs as well, really as a supplement to what they're doing. It's not a replacement for a Facebook or a Twitter. It's really another means of communicating with the same place, and maybe communicating in a little more detail. It's a lot more emotion that gets in the voice.
So how many users do you have in India?
The number I said of 5 million was in India.
5 million in India. Okay.
5 million unique users.
5 million voice bloggers in India. How many here? Okay, not your core audience. Now, anyone looking for investment? Any mobile companies who are looking for investment? We've got Harish Gandhi here. Harish, what's your take? Would you invest in a mobile social network in India?
See, I think I'm actually very excited about mobile and social networks together. I'm actually excited about both of them individually as well. And I think if you think of it, kind of picking up what Vijay was talking about, I think mobile and social networks are sort of made for each other. The best thing that has happened to mobile and social networks, and the best thing that has happened to social networks and mobile. If you look at the kind of applications people are using on their phones, social network is really ballooned to the top. It has overtaken Gmail, email, it has overtaken search. The other side, when you look at where is access going on to social networks, Facebook has 100 million plus Facebook mobile users which are active. You look at the numbers which our friends here have. They are all in several millions and tens of millions. So, I think a lot of social networking is moving on the mobile as well. And therefore, I'm making the statement that the best thing for mobile and social networks and vice versa as well. No, I'm excited about mobile and social networking. I don't think, we really should be thinking about necessarily the next Facebook or the next Twitter kind of a social network. We really need to look at how we can use social media and mobile, social media and mobile to actually enhance business. I think there's a lot of opportunity there. And I think that's where a lot of action, a lot of interest is being generated as well. So there's a lot of opportunity for companies and brands out there to go and use these two mediums, both mobile and social, to actually generate more value.
So how do you think one can do that? How do you think they can do more business using mobile and social? Because the general understanding is that there are about 25 million mobile internet users in India max.
Yeah. So I'm of the view that really, when you talk about social media, you don't really need to restrict yourself to mobile or internet in one dimension. I think both of them are together. There's talk of convergence. So really, it's talking about how social media will be utilized, and whether you access it through mobile or you access it through internet is lesser of the issue in my opinion. So social media, now the question is how to use social media to enhance business, and there are umpteen methods in which people are using this, from creating Facebook pages, using Twitter very effectively. I think there's a lot of action on that. You look at group buying sites like Snapdeal, and how they've really utilized social media and Facebook to really increase awareness. I think there's a lot of opportunity there.
Does anyone have any questions at this point in time? We're opening out to questions now. There's a question there. The mics are.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any questions? There's an extra mic here.
Hey, I'm Vinny. So my question to you is that I would like each of
Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, so my question to the panel is that, so I've been a product manager for a social networking, mobile social networking application before, and one of the constant dilemmas that I had was which platforms do I put my mobile application on, since we have iPhone, Android coming up, or do I put it as a web app? I would like the panel to quickly sort of answer this. In the short term and also in the long term, what do you see, native versus web apps, which one would go for?
Okay, so just to give some context here, there are two modes of accessing the mobile internet. One is directly accessing the URL, and the other mode, which is becoming far more, which we see iPhone brought into play, was through applications, and that's what's led to the growth of the app stores in the country. In the world, applications are the other means of accessing mobile social networks as well as all kinds of services.
So, in the application space, given the amount of work that we've done, I mean, it depends. Depends on, what your target market is. Your target market is India, and you are going to create an application for the iPhone platform, and you want to limit yourself to, I don't know the numbers, I'm sure everybody has got a different number in their head, but let's say 500,000. So if all of them bought your application or downloaded it, that's about where you would go. Should it be BlackBerry? I mean, again, so order of magnitude, maybe 3 times the number. So where do you develop, or where do you deploy? What kind of a platform would you deploy it on? So you need to look at where the market is headed. I mean, clearly with what's happened with Android-based devices and where it's going, price points and the sophistication going up. You should really take a look at where your target market is. If it is India, then you're better sort of advised to take a look at some of these other new emerging platforms. But if your market is somewhere overseas and you are targeting people of Indian diaspora living overseas, then obviously Apple, BlackBerry, and even Android, all 3 of them. But Apple has definitely got a significant lead, and you're better advised doing something like that.
So to address your first question, should it be web-based or should it be application? So look, the mobile browsers have not developed enough in the last few years to give a good real-time experience on mobile. So if you're running something where there is a real-time, say, chat service, you cannot give good user experience on mobile browsers. If you do that, if you don't give a good user experience, your user is not going to come back. For that, you need applications. Now, on applications, sure, Ms. rightly said, if you are targeting India, iPhone, or even BlackBerry. BlackBerry, India and Indonesia are 2 markets where BlackBerries are more popular than iPhones. But there is a wider, there are 2 million feature phones out there in the world, which are non-smartphones. So there are platforms like MTK. MediaTek has, say, 25% market share in India, give or take. There is still Java, which is still a predominant platform for mobile internet users in India. Android, given where we are seeing, Android devices being launched at $125, $150 price points, Android will make a lot of sense, and especially for marketers. Mobile advertising has not been so effective on the Java platforms or other feature phones because of the limitation of real estate. But with Android devices coming at affordable price point, the screen size will grow, and there is an opportunity for marketers.
So do you think you made a mistake because you launched the Android application rather late? Like you've only recently just launched. Do you think you made a mistake by waiting out this long?
Not really, because the handset profiles don't change overnight.
So what's the handset profile for India for those?
For India, it's still predominantly Java in terms of people who are using mobile internet. There is this MTK platform, but on that, the verdict has to be out as how many of those are using mobile internet. Because many of them are primarily very, very low-end devices. So it's still predominantly Java, and Android at $125 price point is just introduced. For having a widespread penetration of Android in India will take several quarters before we will have those. So for now, people who are using mobile internet, mobile internet in India is predominantly driven by smaller towns. Mobile internet usage, and most of them are on the N71s and Nokia Series 40 and Series 60 phones. So Of course, we want to be prepared for Android because it seems it's going to pick up at affordable price point.
I agree with what Mohit is saying. We are seeing mainly the Nokias and the Sony Ericssons and the Samsungs and LGs. Then now MediaTek is coming on board as well. Those are the main platforms that are there today. Android will come, but I think it's about 12 to 18 months away where you'll see a significant change on that side.
So effectively all of your user base is using the Java platform right now?
Most of it is Java platform. Java and or MediaTek.
That's what MediaTek. What are the challenges that you see going forward in terms of platforms? And someone asked a question about platforms. In terms, what sort of issues do you think are going to crop up in the Indian market in case someone wants to make an application?
If they want to make an application, they have to service the existing market, which is the Java market and the MediaTek market, and the new phones that are coming in, which are the Android phones. And again, within the Android phones, there's fragmentation as well. So you can't just write once and have it work everywhere. It's not there today. I think it's going to be a while before that fragmentation goes away. So that's the challenge will be, even on Android, you will have to do the porting onto various phones, whether it's HTC or Motorola or Samsung or LG. You still need to do that.
I just wanted to add one thing to what Mohit said. The power of the mobile sites has not been harnessed in this one, and that's largely because everybody thinks they've got a website and that's good enough. But the issue is that if it is not mobile optimized, then it's no good because it's going to look very different and perhaps in some devices not even going to load properly. So when you have an ecosystem or a market where there's a fair number of Java phones and they do want to look at, or those consumers do want to use applications or use mobile internet capabilities on their existing phone, having a really good mobile site makes perfect sense. And today with the technology moving from much more of a WML based, pardon my using a technology phrase, but you're going into much more of a HTML based browser capability on the phones. And so if you have a very good mobile site, that's worth investing in because that might get you a much wider reach. And by then, what Rajiv said, the ecosystem moving towards the next 12 to 18 months and the sophistication on Android devices also going up and the choices becoming far better, I think you'd be better served doing that.
Does anyone have any other questions?
Yeah.
This one right at the back there. Okay.
Hi, Mohit made a point about a large part of the mobile user base being, can you hear me now? Being in small towns. I had a question about rural India. The internet penetration there is quite low right now, but the mobile penetration is far higher. So with 3G coming in, what kind of changes do we see in the content that mobile networks have to offer in the rural market?
So look, 3G, it's exciting that 3G is coming on. One thing my personal opinion here is, so the adoption of 3G will be first in urban areas, the corporates. The first 50 million users on 3G, given what price point it will be introduced. My belief is will be urban areas, and I encourage my colleagues on the panel to give their thoughts on this. But it won't be rural first of all, right away. For the next year or two, I still see mobile operators serving the cream or the corporates addressing 3G. For rural, still 2.5G. If you have to have services, it's still decent enough. We have seen social networking applications, and Rajiv can share his experience as well, working pretty well on 2.5G network in these rural areas. In fact, many of these people are very mobile savvy. That's the device they have. See, the characteristics of these people in smaller towns: A, they have limited social entertainment options. B, they have time and they are patient enough to download the mobile apps and make them work. They are more mobile savvy than what we think they are. So the congestions in that area, in those areas, is lower than congestion in Mumbai or Delhi of the world. So even on 2.5G networks, you can deliver good services to the semi-urban population. So with 3G, I don't see personally in the next 12 months things changing substantially for the rural.
But when they do you